What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Sunday. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 192 of the Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with someone who my brother from another mother, Stephen Colosi, put on my radar. And if Colosi vouches for you, you got to be good. Someone who in a very short time has become a sought-after talent on the West Coast scene. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the starlight herself, Naomi King. How you doing, Naomi?
Doing good. How are you?
I cannot complain. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all or at least most of Naomi's social media accounts along with mine. So if you aren't followed or subscribed, please take the time and go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I debuted about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, I think now. So that's as long as I've been on the actual shows and stuff. And so.
Gotcha. So who actually trained you or is training you?
So it's Ricky Gibson. I go to the Oregon Pro Wrestling School out in Hillsboro. And yeah, he's been training me, I think in total, like about almost a year and a half or so.
Gotcha. So in terms of the early portions of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around? And did any of the early training surprise you?
I think it was mainly social. I feel like the wrestling, like thankfully, I feel like it came fairly, like I knew it was going to be hard, and it was very hard, but I was able to capture things a little bit faster. But I think the biggest thing was like the dynamics of networking, talking to other people. And I've always been like more shy and reserved. So that's always been challenging for me, but I feel like I've come a long way since when I started. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, doing anything like that, if you're shy and reserved, it's gonna weed that out of you fairly quickly.
For sure.
So, coming into wrestling, did you have any kind of an athletic background? Had you done other sports? Had you done any type of other martial arts, anything like that prior to this?
I did not, no. So, I mean, I've always wanted to, like in high school, I was like, oh, I'll join the wrestling team and all that stuff, but I would get shy and then just not go. And yeah, no athletic background. I did track, I think maybe in middle school, but that's about it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm presuming because, I mean, this is typical with most of the people that I've had on the show. I'm presuming you've been at least a fan of this stuff the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, it's pretty much the story everybody tells you, I started watching wrestling when I was about 8. And then, from there it just kind of kept going. Pretty standard story.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say is your earliest wrestling related memory?
I still remember the first match I watched still. It was because my brother showed it to me. Some YouTube clip of SmackDown. And I watched Rey Mysterio versus John Cena. And yeah, I was hooked on Rey, like from the moment I saw him. Because like, how could you not,
Oh, exactly. I mean, Rey is obviously something amazingly special. And, being a, I'm older. I'm 56, and I've been watching since I was around 11. And, during the time where I could have considered going into the business, it was still very much the land of the giants. And there was just no way that a guy my size was going to be able to do that.
Mhm.
But Rey Mysterio was one of the ones that really broke the glass ceiling for the smaller, really athletic guys. And I kind of live vicariously through those guys now. And it does my heart good to see smaller, really athletic people making a go of it in the business.
No, I agree. I agree because like with his style and everything, like I would watch wrestling, but it like I don't think it would be the same without like seeing an actual like person. I'm like, oh, that person looks like me. So I feel like that was the most encouraging part because like you'd see him versus Batista or like Brock Lesnar, and it's just like these mammoth guys versus this little guy who can just run.
Right, right.
Mhm.
I mean, women as wrestling fans is definitely a growing thing, especially right now with as hot as the industry has been over these past few years. But, when you were a kid, did you ever kind of get teased by your friends as being a girl that likes wrestling, or not really?
It was just mainly like, it's like, "Oh, it's not real, right?" That those kind of comments,
Right.
of course, as we all get, but it was mainly, like, people just, like, thinking I'm like, "Oh, she's crazy." Like, she's, like, not gonna be a wrestler because I was always known as a girl who, like, "Oh, she wants to be a wrestler. Sure. Never done anything athletic before, so yeah, sure, she's gonna do that." But it was never really based off, like, me being a girl, it was just, like, people thought it was dumb, you know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, you're showing them.
Mhm. I've gotten, like, messages from, like, old high school friends or, like, old middle school friends, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're actually doing it." I'm like, "I know."
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what was the first live show you attended as a fan?
As a fan, it was, January I think it was, like, the 1st month of January of, like, 2023,
Hmm.
where I watched, um actually, no, maybe it was a little bit before that, but it was a SmackDown, I remember that, right before the new year, that's all I remember, but it was very recent, so it was, like, maybe, like, 5 years ago, maybe, um, never got to watch anything, like, independent related until then, or just, like, in real life, because I could never afford it, but, I didn't know about the independent circuit until I started training, so
Hmm.
mhm.
Gotcha. So, I mean, obviously, the physical side of this is all extremely important. So, in terms of your routine in the gym, is there a particular exercise or group of exercises that you feel is really important to helping maintain or grow you as a wrestler?
I think the main thing, it used to be a lot of like strength exercises, trying to be strong. But now it's like all hit cardio, something quick and fast. And because I mean, that's all I really got in the ring. So, I don't have that strong suit. I'm not powerful or anything. So I get by because I can run a lot and I can jump a lot. And so, cardio and like doing quick movements like that, blowing myself up, giving myself a second, blowing myself up again, those things like really build that. So that's been my main mainstay for a while.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We're looking over at the Instagram chat. We've got a few people showing up. We've got Jose Amore 413, Ed Miller 8035, Wild Side Wrestling Podcast, and Jennifer Lude 30 hanging out with us today.
Easy.
So in your Instagram bio, you state prominently that Christ is Lord, which I absolutely love. Tell us about your faith journey. Were you raised in a Christian home, and tell us a bit about that side of you.
Yeah, so I like born and raised apostolic Christian, been to church my whole life, And, obviously as a kid, you're just kind of going because your parents are going. Um, and, I was taught things like Sunday school, all that stuff, but I don't think my relationship with God like grew until I was like, because I went through a lot as a kid. So I think it started like 4 years old, starting to like pray by myself, just like I was going through a lot, even at like even very young. So I feel like that connection of just like not being alone, that thing really started with me and my faith. And as I grew older, like I would see other religions and other things like that, but I mean, no one compares to God, like, and so when I think about my journey in wrestling and everything, I wouldn't have what I have now. I've been given so many opportunities, and it's not by me. Like, it's not by my athletic ability. It's not because I'm good at character work or I'm this grand person. All of it comes from God. Like, the moment I started training, everyone was so encouraging and kind, and I've just been given so much grace by others, and it's all by God. Because like if it wasn't that case, if I didn't go through the things I went through before, I wouldn't have been strong enough to start wrestling, and then to face so much ridicule from people and people in my personal life, to start it. So God has given me all the strength. God has given me so much, and that's why, like, when I think of wrestling and stuff like that, I dedicate that to God. So I try to represent Him the best I can out there. Um, and I mean, I'll always choose God over wrestling, because, like, it's a gift from God, really, that I'm able to do this to begin with. So if I ever had to choose and stuff like that, if I have to leave it all, it doesn't matter. That stays here. My eternity's with God. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's really cool with your story is, throughout the Bible, God seems to like to use the unlikely. Like, using Moses, who was not a good speaker, to basically go up and confront Pharaoh back in the Old Testament, and so I feel like he's definitely, his hand is all over your wrestling career, and you've really got such a cool opportunity to use your platform for his glory, and I'm glad that you see that. That's just really exciting.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, it's just I'm too grateful for, like, I'm beyond grateful for the dream of being a wrestler. Like,
Right.
sure, I think of all these things, but if it doesn't happen, glory to God. If it does happen, glory to God either way. So.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
It's mainly church related. So I spend a lot of time in church. I'm part of the choir, so I practice a lot of that. Um, Working out. A lot of times I'm just working. But I like painting. I think that's a big thing. I painted this and this over here too. I don't know if you
Oh,
can see that.
nice.
So this is like a car. This is like a sunset thing. Um, I have a bunch of like boards, and I've always been painting since I was a kid. So I think that's a huge one that I do. Also, I love Legos. Um, I don't even think I can hold this up properly, but like, I have this whole thing right next to me, and it's Bowser. And so
Nice.
I like Legos. I like painting. Singing is huge for me. Um, and yeah, I think those are the main ones. I can't really think of any other hobbies.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, interestingly enough, with you having brought up Legos, you
Mhm,
know, over the time doing this, periodically I've actually had some deathmatch wrestlers on,
mhm,
and they almost invariably say that the deathmatch accessory that they fear the most is Legos. They hate taking bumps onto Legos. And I've stepped on Legos enough to know that that hurts. I couldn't imagine getting power bombed or just dropped onto Legos. That would just be horrendous.
Yeah, like I have not done a death match, you know, I don't know if I ever will, but if I'd rather do thumbtacks than Legos, I think. I think I'd be
Yeah.
more comfortable that way. Like
Yeah.
I can't do Legos. Like it hurts just stepping on them, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-mm.
So, we're mostly a wrestling related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything cool right now?
Uh, Not really. I don't. I think the most recent thing I started getting into was watching what is it, King of Queens? I think that's like an old
Oh,
show.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching that recently, and that's about it. I sadly don't get that much time to like watch shows anymore. I heard
Gotcha.
Stranger Things is good, but I haven't watched that. And still my watch list. I used to watch a lot of anime. I think that's like a big thing before I started
Hmm.
wrestling. Then after that, I just kind of, been too busy. But
Right.
mhm.
Right. So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
I think it'd have to be my brother. Um, he is such a leader in like everything that he does. We, we've come up in church together, and throughout life, obviously, like faith changes, like it goes its ups and downs. And he went through a really low point, but he built himself back up so strongly, and now he's preaching and he's in charge of so many things. He has so many ideas. He has so much passion in him, and I think that's what really inspires me, because like I want to implement that everywhere and everything I do. Um, Kind of like how he does, because he puts, when he has an idea, he puts everything into it. And so I think he's my big inspiration. And also just like throughout my life, we've gone through a lot together, and he's always been the strong suit of the relationship. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, you are from Oregon. What is your favorite thing about Oregon?
I think I've been here so long that it like now everything has something to it. Um, Whenever if I get to go to the lake or something during the summer, if I get to drive up and like do hiking, um, I love the nature aspect of it. I love that there's trees everywhere. Um, but like, ask me about Portland or anything like that. I can't tell you anything that I like. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, you haven't been in the business for that long, and
Mhm.
it's probably still kind of a work in progress. But tell us a bit about in-ring Naomi King and kind of compare and contrast her with everyday you.
I think she's a lot more resilient than I am in my regular day. Um, if something happens, like someone talks to me badly in real life, I'm very reserved, so I won't likely say anything. Um, I think she can stand up for herself a lot more than I can. And she also understands who she is better. She she knows that like being girly and like liking, I like a lot of pinks. I like a lot of things that like I cutesy stuff, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean I'm weak or I'm stupid. I get confused for ditzy a lot, especially in this business. So I feel like in my everyday life, sure, I'm a little bit more bubbly. Um, but I think she is like a higher version of that. But it's still not like I'm still not weak. I'm still not like I'm a fighter. So I think that's what she has, a lot more confidence. Um, in who she is and just what she believes. And for me in real life, I like girly stuff. I like painting. I like fashion. I like doing my hair, things like that. But um, I'm more reserved. I like if someone says something to me again, I'm just gonna take it, to be honest. Like, but yeah, she's more confident than I am for sure.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Let's hear about the very first one.
The very first one was a prestige private show, and the people in the crowd didn't know it was happening, and that was
Okay.
really so I was nervous because when I got the message, it was my coach that said like, "Hey, here's an opportunity," and um, I wanted to throw it. I was in the back, and the back was literally just a hallway, and I was like, this is a life, what a life to live. I'm in a hallway with a bunch of like people that have been doing this for a while, and um, I was nervous that like as soon as I get out there, I'm gonna trip and I'm gonna fall flat on my face. Luckily, that didn't happen, but as soon as I got out there and got inside the ring, all my nerves went away. And I think that's what really solidified like I need to do this for as long as I can. Um, because as soon as I got in there, it felt like not only was there just crickets in the crowd because no one knew who I was and like they didn't know what wrestling was. So it was very quiet, but I felt like everything stood still in the most perfect way where as soon as we went to lock up, everything just like made sense to me. So
That's awesome.
mm-hmm.
So we've heard about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
Favorite match. I think it's gonna be the me and Amira at DOA Queen of Thorns, the tournament.
Okay.
It was the first round, and I think the reason I enjoyed that a lot, one, I was going against someone that um, she's done a lot already in this business, especially for the Pacific Northwest. Um, she's the it girl, really. So, um, someone that's like a vet, and like she's always like kind of like giving me like, especially because we're both similar heights.
Mhm.
She's given me like good tips and tricks throughout like the years and stuff of like ropes and how to work with that stuff with our height. So she's always really taken care of me in that sense. And we got out there, and I think that's the first time the crowd really connected with me. Um, they were um, very supportive, even for my first time being there and not knowing who me. So it was nice.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of your in ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? Who would you say has helped to sort of shape you into the Starlight?
Uh, I think I get a lot of inspiration, like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff
Oh yeah.
Hardy, Lita, AJ Lee. I think those ones mainly. I think my style wise, like it's more kind of like a mix of like Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio, and then like outfit wise, I get a lot of inspiration from Lita, and like my character wise, like AJ Lee, huge
Hmm.
inspiration. I mean, since I watched like the product ever, she always stood out to me. So um, I think all of them just play a part to it, and then Eddie Guerrero is just like the boss, right? So
Oh, for sure.
so I try to implement what he does. Obviously, not to the best caliber, but I try my best.
Well, my wife is a relatively new wrestling fan. Whoops. My wife is a relatively new wrestling fan, and she has recently just fallen in love with AJ Lee. I mean, but
Yeah.
who wouldn't? I mean, she's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? is there a match that really speaks to your heart that you just find yourself kind of gravitating back to for repeated watches?
Just wrestling wise, I love the Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero Halloween Havoc. That one is probably a good one that I regularly go back to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But one that I like just love for the like I can't think of one right now that was like there's one Hell in a Cell match that I really loved. I think it was 2011 or 10. Um, it had everybody in it, and that was like my first time watching the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And that one like captivated me. So like just for nostalgia's sake, I'd say that one.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of piggybacking onto that question, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
Kind of generic, but the Austin 316 one. I think that
Yeah,
was fun. Yeah.
gotcha.
Mhm.
So, in your and this is entirely your opinion at this very moment.
Mhm.
Who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman at this moment?
Io Sky, easily best female wrestler. In my mind. I mean, you just look at her and like she's amazing. She's every I
Yeah.
wish, dude. I wish. And then best um right now.
Yeah. It's not an easy question.
That one's a little harder, I'm not gonna lie. Um I'm gonna go with MJF. I like his heel work, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue that. The thing that's been interesting with MJF is sort of watching his progression because, when he really, I mean, he was doing stuff before AEW, but when he came on the scene in AEW, absolutely amazing on the mic, pretty decent worker, but he has really put in the work these last few years to really, I would say he is equally good in the ring at this point as he was on the mic. And, I feel like he's really evolved into becoming the complete package. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge MJF mark myself. So,
Yeah.
so, one final part of that question, who is the best tag team in the world right now, in your mind?
Flaming Aces, shout out. Uh, no, they're my friends, so I'll say them. I'll just say them. Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you love to have the chance to share a ring with?
I'd be terrified, but Io Sky for sure. If that ever were to happen, which only God knows, really. But like, if that ever happens, that would be like my dream match.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
So Poison Rana is really fun. I've been having a lot of fun with that one lately. I think that one's probably my favorite one right now.
Hmm.
It used to be the Meteora, but that's the one that takes the cake. And then, so I've been trying to do the double stomp, like kind of like the coup de grace that Finn Balor does.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I hate doing it because no one wants to take it, and I'm like, I understand,
Yeah.
but I understand. But if the opportunity arises, that'd be cool. Um, but I think that's the one that I feel the worst about. Like, I feel bad if anyone has to take it anyway. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. So, you haven't been doing this for that long, and you're still comparatively very young, so this may not really apply that much, but I'll ask it anyway, and that is, what hurts right now?
Oh, okay. I still have stuff. So, I was training and like last week or so, and I sprained both my wrists. So
Okay.
this one's like pretty much fine now, which is good. This is like a week or two ago, I think now. This one still doesn't bend all the way, so like this is as much, and then this is as much as it'll go. This one can do a lot more. And then my left knee. The reason I don't do the meteor anymore, it's because I hurt myself, and I couldn't bend my knee more than 90 degrees for 3 months. Never
Oh,
got a chance,
wow.
so I should have, but
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So, in the time you've been doing this, what would you say is the worst bump you have taken?
So I shouted out the Flaming Aces earlier. I think we were doing this Rumble thing at like a Toledo show in Oregon. It was like a fair thing. It was my first concussion. So they have me up, and I don't know what it was exactly. Maybe it was timing or something, but they were supposed to just drop me, and they did. But I think the ratio from me to the ground, I think I underestimated it, and I just landed straight on my head. And
Oh,
yeah, so I finished the match. Everything was good. I remember everything, but I was like, ooh, I feel a ringing in my ear. I want to throw up. I think that's probably the worst one I've had bump wise.
gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, concussions are definitely nothing to mess with. How long did you put yourself on the shelf after that? How long was the recovery time?
So I had extended because so it was at the fair. So we did that. I didn't know I had a concussion yet. So after the show, I went on a ride and I couldn't walk anymore. And I was like, "Oh no." So I think I gave myself a month. Um if I remember correctly, like 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think that's how much I gave myself.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
I mean, I mean, it's the most useful tool we have, really. I think everybody should have social media and stuff like that. I'm really bad at using it, so the only one I have to a T is Instagram, but I don't understand Facebook at all. So I have trouble with that. I have trouble using Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account either for that reason because I don't know how to use it. So I think the more you know, though, use it as much as you can.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I'm really active on Instagram. I'm fairly active on TikTok. I have a Twitter and I have a Facebook, and when I do these live streams, I'm live on like 5 different platforms. But I'm not as active on Facebook or Twitter as I should be. But there's only so many hours in the day too.
Right.
So
It takes a
yeah,
lot of time.
it does. It does. But so. Okay, hot take question.
Mm.
Who is winning the men's and women's Royal Rumble this year?
Ah, dude, I don't know. I'm honest, I've barely been watching the product, so I think who's the number ones right now? Um, if Bianca Belair comes back, I feel like she might win.
Yeah,
If
I
that
could see that.
Yeah. On the men's, no idea. It could be anyway. It could be Jey Uso again. I don't know. Uh, Um, who are the number ones? Maybe Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I could see that.
I can see that. Yeah.
You know, I tell you, I would hate to take a spear from that guy. Whew. I mean,
yeah. My life would flash before my eyes, and then I'd be gone. So.
absolutely. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Stop trusting yourself so much. Like, don't take things. Like, you can ask for help. I think that's a big thing. You don't have to just rely on yourself. Like, no matter how alone you think you are, there are people there. And I think that's a big thing, is like, don't just rely on what you think. Like, even like when it comes to like faith, like, his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. Like, at the end of the day, I don't know what's best for me, so like, I like, don't trust yourself that much. Like, have confidence in yourself, but like, at the same time, if you need outlets, you have them, use them. So I think that's a big thing.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, do you have any advice for any young people that might happen to see this that are thinking about trying to break into the business? What would you tell somebody that's about to walk through the door of a wrestling school for the first time?
I'd
Run
say
away?
a lot of people say the biggest advice is to quit. So I know a lot of people that would give that advice. No, I think a big thing is just like, focus on yourself. You're here to train. Don't get caught up in friendships and stuff like that. Like, this is not just social hour. Like, it's fun, don't be wrong. Like, I love that I have so many friends there now. But it's also, know what you're there for. Work on what you need to do. We all start somewhere too. So if you suck, we all did. I still don't think I'm very good. Once again, I'm gifted a lot of things. So yeah.
Gotcha. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Besides just stretch, I think the biggest one is to pray. I pray before every match, because like, I just want to make sure everyone out there is safe. Want to make sure I'm safe. I want to make sure I'm doing this for the right reasons. I'm not in an ego, in one of, any type of phase at all. So I pray beforehand, calm myself down. I'm not out there alone. Take my breath, and so yeah, I think that's a bigger thing, is like praying first.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And looking some more at the Instagram chat, we've got a few more people that have showed up. We've got Custom Belt Crafter and Mario Z 619 who
Hey.
are hanging out with us. So, just kind of a quick rundown. What all do you carry in your gear bag? And do you carry anything unique or unusual in your gear?
Let me think. Anything weird? I don't know. I don't think I've carried anything super odd. Maybe like snacks, like, or something. Um, Extra snacks. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything like too out of place that I carry.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what is your favorite snack?
Okay, I like charcuterie boards a lot. So, usually like a show and stuff like that, if there is any catering or snacks, if there is that, I have to like resist, because I don't want to like feel bloated during the match. But afterwards, it's gone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
ate everything. So charcuterie boards, I like cheese, and then like the pepperoni slices. I try to bring some sort of fruit or something. Like, I just try to keep it
Hmm.
light. for when I'm wrestling.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So during the time that you've been doing this, have you found a favorite venue that you just love to wrestle in, or are they all kind of the same to you, or is there a special venue for you?
I think POW, the World of Pies. I was like trying to remember what it was. World of Pies down in Eugene. I think that one I really enjoy. It's a really like fun venue. Like fun show to be on, you know. There's a lot of food places nearby. I love sushi, and there's like a bunch of sushi places. So I like that venue a lot. I like New out in Canada, Vancouver. It was really pretty out there. And so it's just I think that those ones like gave me the best vibes. So yeah, and POW also is like the first non WWE show I went to. So I think that's also like a nostalgia thing too.
Very cool. Very cool. So something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And one of my recent guests, a wrestler who's actually based here in the Atlanta area by the name of Dallas Dash, the question that he posed is, if you could choose any country to wrestle on a show in, what country would you choose and why?
Ooh. I've been lately really wanting to go to somewhere in the UK. I think I would love to like wrestle in London. I think that'd be cool. Just because I've seen a lot of like great shows come out from there and a lot of great wrestlers, obviously, from the UK. So I think that one would be cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to our next guest?
If you had to wrestle without, I'm sure let me try to think of something decent. Dang, that's a good question. I kind of want to ask that one to them too. Like, oh, what kind of country do you want to wrestle in? How about if there is a would they rather wrestle in Mexico, or would they rather wrestle in Japan? And why? Sure. Let's go with that one.
I like that. How would you answer that?
I choose both personally. But I think Japan would be cool.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Japanese fans are so different than the American fans. You know, they're much more reserved. You know, that they don't go as crazy as fans in the West do. You know, but you know, they'll definitely let you know if they like what you're doing, but it's more a polite applause than going bonkers. You know, so
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, I'm a huge fan of Japanese wrestling. You know, Japanese wrestling was actually kind of what got me back into it. I had sort of, my fandom had kind of lapsed for a number of years, and you know, and I started hearing right about 2016, 2017 about this guy named Kenny Omega, who was, you know, over in Japan, and I knew that Access TV was carrying New Japan, so I started kind of watching that. That sort of lit the fire back in me, and then I started kind of watching everything again about that point, and I've been kind of back into it ever since. But you know, that's the cool thing about professional wrestling. your fandom can kind of wax and wane during different points in your life, but it's always going to be there. So that's something I really dig about it. So we're getting toward the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Next show I am doing is going to be January 24th. Yeah, January 24th. POW at Eugene, Oregon at World of Pies. I'm going to be going against Amira. And I'm hoping to win. So definitely check that one out if you can. It's going to be live on YouTube.
Nice.
Just put POW Pro Wrestling. It should pop up. And then I'm also going to be doing, let me think. Yeah, let's just go with that one because I don't remember the rest of them. So.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So, before we wrap all of this up, is there anybody you want to say anything to, or any shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to Marco Antonio. That's a G right there. We started training together. What a guy, Shout out to Stephen Colosi, dude.
Oh yeah.
What a unit of a guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Midi Tulips. That's another one. He's a really great guy. The most like old soul is what he calls himself, and that's very accurate. So he's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, based on what I've seen and what I've learned from sitting here talking with you for this past almost an hour, mm-hmm. You have a very bright future ahead of you. You exude a really cool energy, and I definitely see big things ahead.
Thank you.
And so thank you for your time. And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, like I said, go to our platforms and do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, tomorrow, the 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. Mountain Time, we've got episode 193, and our guest is actually a Utah-based referee and wrestler in training, Landix Lisenby. And he apparently has become a very in-demand referee out in the Utah scene. So I'm definitely excited to have him on. And apparently he's a second generation. His dad wrestles. And he's actually 14 years old. So, somebody that's very young in the business, but has kind of grown up in it and around it. So it ought to be definitely a good conversation. And like I said, Naomi, thank you for your time. This has been an absolute pleasure. And, I look forward to staying in touch. And any of your friends out in the Oregon scene that you think would enjoy doing one of these, definitely send them my way. Yeah. And, for, like I said, until tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern with Mr. Lisenby, be good to each other,